if I make you the hero right now, and I help you go from here to here, now you can also make somebody else the hero and help them go from here to here. That's what network marketing is built upon. So network marketing is the idea that that if you can buy a product from a person and then also sell those same products to other people and build what's called a downline of other people that are selling for you. You guys understand that concept? So network marketing is built on that idea, though, of this, which is, like you'll see it all the time. Somebody does like a weight loss one, and they'll buy the product, they'll lose a bunch of weight, and then they'll tell all their friends, and they'll be like, oh, you've got to sign up through this, or makeup, right? Like, I wasn't that pretty until I put on Mary Kay, and next thing you know, I'm gorgeous, and everybody's wanting to be my friend, and so girls, you should buy Mary Kay or Roads and Fields or whatever the heck all the different ones are now these days. And that's how it spreads, though, is because at first you're the hero, the customer, I'm the hero, and then now I realize because I have empathy, and you've heard me say this before, empathy is your strongest weapon in sales, because when you have empathy for somebody, you connect with them at a deep level, and you understand and feel what they feel. The clients here that have come on board have all said the same thing, that the reason we want to sign up with you is because you understand us. They felt like we had the empathy for them. That didn't mean I'm feeling sorry for them, going, oh, you poor people, you can't market, and so sad and whatever. It just meant that I understand. I understand exactly what you're feeling right now. Yeah, when you felt this, it probably meant this. And so I'm now clarifying, articulating for them the story that they're going through, right? So if I'm meeting with somebody on a sales call and they begin telling me the answers to all these things, I'm able to then articulate in the context of story what is happening. So I say, what I hear you saying is, this is happening in your life. I'll give you a perfect example. The guy who runs an agency in the UK calls me on the phone. We're talking, and he's asking me questions about, nonprofit marketing and all these other questions. But as we get more into it, I start hearing more of his pains. I start asking deeper questions. And as I get to the deeper questions, he starts realizing, wow, there's something here. And so I articulate his pain for him. So if you can articulate someone's pain for them, you can market to them. And so the only way I can articulate pain is by having empathy. So my empathy to him was like, man, I feel you. I have been there. I know exactly what you're going through. So when this is happening, like his thing was success, right? So on the outside, he looked like a success to everybody. And so the way I described it to him was this. So every day you go home from a job that you sort of know is successful, and your wife would say it's successful, and your friends would say it's successful, and you make good money. But deep down, you feel miserable. You feel like you're just kind of going through the motions. And that's making you feel like garbage because you're not fulfilling and satisfying the thing you've always wanted. And he was like, whoa, how did you get that? Because I listened, I heard where his hell was, and then I described, well, what if we could create a plan to get you here? He wasn't ready for that plan at that time. He wants me to follow up with him, whatever. But that's how we do it, right? We empathize, we understand, and that's the only way you can do that. So when you look at how to use it in copy, and video concepts, characters and stories and all these things, really what we're doing is we're saying in copy, which when we say copy, we're usually referring to words on paper that are meant to entice a reaction. We're using that story. We're telling stories. So like in emails, a lot of times we'll create an email for a company and we'll tell a story. We'll start right in the middle. It's like almost like if you ever seen that movie, and it's like the movie never starts in the beginning. The movie always starts at some point. Even if you look at The Hobbit or you look at Lord of the Rings, it was like Lord of the Rings. I had never even been exposed to Tolkien. I never read any of the books. But when I saw Lord of the Rings, it was like it started, and you think that's the beginning, but it's not. The beginning already happened a long time ago. So you start right in the middle, and you drop people in instantly, and you begin to describe the hero and where the hero is at. So the hero is John, and John is a great CEO of a company, but deep down, John really struggles with feeling insignificant and inadequate. So that's his problem. Then John meets Mark, who's the CEO of Unleashed CEO, and he helps other CEOs get empowered from their business. Mark and John got together. Mark understood John's pain, and he created a roadmap for the next 8 weeks of how they could work together, and Mark could help him solve that problem. In the midst of it, John felt unsure and uneasy. 3 weeks in, he wasn't sure if he was going to quit. So Mark and him got on the phone, and Mark helped him through this issue. And then 2 weeks later, John's wife threatened to leave, and so he got on the phone with Mark, and they walked through this issue together. And then when we got to week 8, John looked back and realized, wow, look at all the changes I've made. Look at how far I've come in just a short period of time. So the best testimonies, the best case studies come from that place. You need a value proposition before you can write the story, in my opinion. Because the value proposition gives you the basis for writing a story that's based on a solution. Storybrand is more of a framework or a concept to understand how to tell the story that you're trying to tell and how to interact with customers and clients. The value proposition comes from the client, though, in the sense that, okay, the research and knowing our clients and knowing our customers, we know that this is why people buy. And so when we look at value proposition, we're looking at what are the benefits of them buying this versus those costs. So if I say, cost could be broken down into friction, anxiety. Okay. So friction could be money. Friction could be time. Friction could be ease of use. Okay. Anxiety is usually more psychological, so it could be trust. Do I trust you guys? That's probably the easiest one for there. So all of these are the cost factors, and so one way to do it is if you literally line up cost on one side and value on the other. You can use the value side of the equation to offset the cost side. So when you're writing your script for the actual video, these are some of the things that we have to focus on from a benefits perspective so that the value outweighs the cost. Because in their head, and you've probably watched a commercial on TV about this, right? Where it's like they're talking about a product and you're like, oh, that sounds great. But what about this? And you start in your head, you start thinking about, I don't know about you guys, but I remember when I was a little kid and I would watch TV and there'd be like these toys on there and they'd be like, man, this little G.I. Joe guy and he's like driving around in his truck and you're like, oh, that looks so amazing. Look at that. I just want one of those. I'm sure Billy has one. It's going to be amazing. And then your mom's like, yeah, but I don't know. That doesn't look too realistic. But you're like, yeah, but look at it. It's so cool. In our minds, we have a perspective that we think is real. In marketing, perspective is everything. Perspective is truth to a consumer. Okay, the way you perceive it to be, perception is reality, essentially. That's a better way of saying it. Perception is reality in marketing. So whatever I perceive to be true is my truth. So in marketing, when I'm marketing to you, I have to market to your truth, not mine. That's a huge one. Because if you're trying to market to your truth, then you're not looking at them as the hero, because the hero has his own set of truths. So what may be true for you may not be true for me as the business, but that doesn't matter in marketing. In marketing, what matters is the truth that the consumer has. So if the consumer believes that if I take this one pill every day and I will lose weight automatically, then that's their truth. So that's why marketers are able to then market to people. Now, after 50 years of that, people are starting to get a little leery of it, but it still happens all the time. People take these pills, people down this stuff and go, oh, my life is not better. I thought it was going to be. Because they want to believe so bad within them that if I just take this pill. So their truth is, their perception of reality is if I take this pill, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be better. Do you have a question? Oh, okay. Does that make sense? So we have to basically get down to the idea of what's the pill that they think they've got to take. So we have to understand what it is that they want to take, and then our solution has to become the pill.